which was a winter one. We were not out in the parking lot, and I went through my checklist of the different items that I bring when I'm going to be dry washing. So obviously good gloves, good boots, your dry washer, a blower, all very important, air hose, panning tub, classifiers, pans, picks and shovels, pry bars, vacuums so that you can get down and like vacuum really good and get into the bedrock, get into the crevices, crevicing tools so you can scrape out the edges, because in the desert or in dry areas, gold likes to work its way down into the cracks and crevices. And it's not like water where if you're dredging, you're using that suction of a dredge in order to vacuum stuff up the stream. This, you're literally trying to pull the dirt off of the dry ground, and so using scraping and crevicing tools, I got quite a few different versions of them here, but like here's one that I would use. I could use something like this and use this to get into cracks and crevices and break stuff apart. Maybe it'll come out. Thank you. Okay, here's a couple. Crevicing tools to break into like cracks and crevices. These are called magic fingers. These are really good for like scraping up really solid ground. They do a really good job of getting in there and breaking dirt up. So there's all sorts of different tools that you can use, all sorts of different crevicing tools that you can use in order to get the dirt into your buckets. If you did not see that particular presentation, we had handouts and we had quite a few extras. So I'm going to leave these up here over on my tailgate. Feel free to come grab one of these. And this is just a great little checklist that you can use in order to pack and prep for a dry washing trip. So let's talk a little bit about dry washing. A lot of us are more familiar with water sluices, wet sluices, where you're using the power of the water and you're using the fact that gold is 19 times heavier than the water. So you're using the weight of the gold to sink it to the bottom of your sluice, and you're trying to create little eddies. You're trying to create void zones where the gold is going to get stuck and trapped, and the water's going to keep going. The water's going to take the lighter material with it, but the little eddies are going to trap the gold inside of your ripples. Dry washing's different. First of all, your ripples are faced the opposite direction. Instead of creating eddies, they're actually creating dead zone patches where the heavier stuff is going to get trapped. Down inside of here. That's where you want your gold to get trapped. And so instead of a water ripple going like this and creating an eddy, it's actually creating a catch. Okay? The other thing is with a dry washer, it's got this screen material on the bottom that's going to allow airflow through it. And that airflow is going to push the lighter material up using a blower that's going to blow, have a fan, it's going to cause a vibration, and that vibration and airflow is going to create a movement that's going to look like a wave of dirt just light and evenly going over each of these ripples until it falls out. What you're hoping is that your gold and your heavy material gets stuck in your top couple of ripples. All the gold and stuff should get caught up at the very top of this. Couple things that we like to do when we customize them. Carl and I do a lot of dry washing. And a couple things we do is we swap out our top screen. This is my 140. It's a smaller personal size unit. I love this thing. It's so easy to set up. It's lightweight. It's easy to carry. And it's easy to manage as one person. This is more of a team effort. This is a 151. Way bigger. Takes a lot more dirt to keep that thing happy and full. I brought them both today because my screens get used so much that my screen on my bottom plate is worn out and it's not blowing properly. So I need to do some maintenance on this unit. So I'm not going to use this one today. We're going to use that one. This one's brand new to us, so we haven't swapped out this top screen. But one of the things that we like to do is swap out that top expanded metal for this wire, this wire screen here. This classifies material way better than that expanded metal does. So that's one of the first things that we do when we get a unit. The other thing that we'll do, and I talked about this in the intro to dry washing session that I did a few months ago, is we add a weight down to the bottom. This is definitely not stock. I drilled this hole at the bottom of my box here, and I hung this weight from it. This is a 3-pounder, and Keen does not sell these like this, and most people look at me like I'm crazy when I set this up like this. But one of the best dry washers in the world taught us this trick, and it's on YouTube. He shows it, but he came out and helped us set these up personally. But what this does is the air has a tendency to overflow this box, and it will shake your gold out. It'll just randomly throw your gold out because it's shaking too much. With the addition of that weight, it controls the shake of your riffle box, and it doesn't overblow it. And you'll actually increase your gold capture drastically by putting a weight on there. A couple other things people have a tendency to do in their dry washing is overblowing the box. They'll fire this up and they'll crank it up and they'll get that dirt just moving right on down there. They'll just overload this thing and get the dirt moving down it. You actually want to kind of slow it down a little bit. It's okay if the dirt's moving, but you want to take the airflow way down so you're not overblowing it. That's going to help you retain your fine gold. A lot of people say that the recovery rate of a dry washer is only 75% versus water is usually in the mid-90s. But when you set these up properly, you're going to be able to get right up with a water system. You're going to be able to get right up into the 90 percentile if you do these certain things. So first thing you would do is, thank you, take your level. It doesn't really matter if your top box is level. This isn't what we want to make sure is level. What you want to make sure is level are your ripples. Well, see, I have a level with me, but make sure that when you bring a level, it's the right one for your ripples, and I did that on purpose. We had that planned. So I'm going to take this unit and I'm going to set it right on my top riffle here, and you can see that's perfectly level right there. You probably can't see it, but take my word for it.
You're talking about horizontally, correct?
Yeah. Perfectly level there. Did I say vertical?
No.
Oh, okay, thanks.
I'm clarifying.
Thank you. So yeah, you want to make sure you're perfectly horizontal, especially your top couple riffles, because if it's tilted, what'll happen is all of your dirt will load to one side, and you'll actually build up too many heavies on the low side, and it'll start blowing out your gold. So you want to have a perfectly level system. I'm going to be honest, it's really hard to keep these things level all day because this thing's vibrating, it's moving, you're dumping, picking up, you're going to see us, we're going to be like going crazy with this, hitting it with buckets. You got to check it often. Don't just check it once and forget it. You got to check them often. The other thing you need to watch out for, one thing we noticed, I don't have this problem when I run my smaller box because I have a custom hose that I bought for it. This is a stock hose that came with this when we bought it. This hose is really stiff, and it was giving us a hard time bending down here, and that hose is actually altering the movement of this box. So that's the first thing we're going to need to fix is the way that this hose is sitting, either by adding a 90-degree angle to it or something, but make sure you're very careful with your hose so that you're not kicking it, because when you kick that, you're going to be altering the levelness of your sluice rope. Okay?
So this cross-applying screen, is that like chicken wire fencing?
No, it's way thicker than that. It's like 3/8 wire grate, and I get mine. I buy it by the sheet from Triple S Steel, which is not too far from here. I buy it by the sheet and then cut it down because I use this on my wet classification systems as well. This screen is really good because it clears easier.
Very tough too.
It's very tough and it clears. When you're dumping stuff on here, you'll get rock jams. Those, it can be hard to get rock jams out of it. Because of the angles on it.
The rocks stick out like this and get stuck. Yeah.
This, because of the square, it doesn't stick as bad. It's super easy to clear this particular system.
Measuring is smaller than even the screening that I use at home. When I upgraded my screens and whatnot with some stuff that I'd gotten, it was like sheet steel that I had, or galvanized sheet steel.
So this is a pretty small classification. It's around 3/8, but I'll tell you what. If you're in an area where you're getting gold bigger than this, swing your tailings pile with a metal detector. Because if you're getting gold bigger than that 3/8 classification, your detector is going to pick it up. Yeah. Okay.
And tell me where you're at.
Yeah.
We get asked that all the time.
Okay, so I'm gonna fire this bad boy up. I'm gonna run a bucket. Now, before I do that, I wanna let you know that, number one, this is random dirt from a neighborhood that's being built next to my house. I just walked over next to the excavator and just scooped a couple buckets worth of dirt out, just so I'd have some fresh dirt here to run. Just because it's fresh dirt, we actually loaded all 4 buckets with a couple of bags of pay dirt that we bought here from the club and some black sand, so you can really see how the heavies get caught in here. Looking at the time, I've got about 15 minutes. I'm gonna fire this up. I'm gonna run a bucket and show you how I do it. And then
Back that way.
I almost feel like if anybody wants to jump in, like this is kind of hands-on. This is a great opportunity to play. So,
Do those other units have a static map for ultra fine flower?
so to be honest, the static mats that team uses, you're gonna have range for that. Lock your air flow. Yeah. So no. In fact, we don't have that. I'm gonna actually kill it. Exactly. Yeah. No, this is a great question. This is a great question. So he asked if we use the static mats in order to capture the ultra fine gold. Keen makes a newer version of this. This is an old 151, and they make an S which has the static mats on it, and it's got a different fan system on it. We intentionally buy ours used, and we look for pre-S models because the S models, they change the fan configuration. It blows and shakes differently. And the mats, the cloth in there is so much thicker, it doesn't blow the same. So it's kind of personal preference. We look for used ones. We actually just scour the classifieds. We bought this one in Arizona a couple months ago because the guy was selling it. We confirmed it was a pre-S. Boom, we bought it because we knew that it had the older style fan and stuff. So, yeah. Okay, sorry, man.
No, that's good.
You know what? Before you do that, any other questions before we fire it up?
Get everyone to move away from the dirt.
Yeah, this is gonna
Gonna be a dirt cloud
This is
going.
gonna create a dirt cloud. So
The dirt cloud's going that way.
So everyone kind of back up behind the actual
Yeah, you're
dry
gonna stand in the
washer.
dirt cloud over here. So you guys probably want to come around this way. You can watch me load it. I'll bring you guys in on the side so you can see how the dirt goes down.
You don't want to stand downwind for this one.
With the static mat, with that,
I have no
He's
problem
in
getting
that
super ultra fine gold. Yeah. If
You told them, they're adults.
Don't overpower. Don't send too much air through it. If your dirt's blowing way up in the air above your mat, you're giving it too much air. And frankly, you're wasting gas. If you just turn it down to an idle and let it idle through it, mostly that's enough power to give you the right shape and the right amount of air, and you're going to capture fire. 12.5. Okay. I'm going to yell as loud as I can, so hopefully everybody can hear me. So I'm going to pick up a bucket. I'm going to start loading it in here and classifying it. This is where it is on. So always have good luck when you're using the dry wash and classifying. Have really good luck.
tough one.
One thing I've noticed with this style of classifier, you'll hold your rocks in your hand, you throw them up and down. They're going to help bounce your dirt down through your classifier.
Anybody else bringing their metal detector tonight? I got mine back there.
All right. So sometimes it just takes, every dirt's going to run just a little bit differently. So sometimes your gate might need to be a little more open for certain areas, a little more closed for other areas. The dirt is going to process differently depending upon the gravel content. Who wants to grab a bucket?
Thank you. Thanks for ammo.
Yeah. So you're going to see all your coarse tailings are falling off the back side. All your fine tailings are coming up the front side. You can do it. Carl. You want to go fill it? Got it? All the way at the top? All the way at the top. Got it? I don't know. Yeah. All right. Woo! There we go. we lost some black sand there. But so what we did is we waited and let it finish running off the dirt before we killed it. We wanted to get rid of all the extra in there. Thanks for your help. Appreciate it. Oh no. I'm not worried about black sand. I want gold. Okay, just dump it in one of these buckets here. Okay, so now I'm going to take this guy. And before I dump it in this bucket, I'm going to just bounce this back a little bit. You guys can see this line of black sand up here. See all that black sand that's caught? All those heavies it caught? All those heavies. Yeah. So I'm going to spin around. I'm going to take this around. See all the black sand, everything. These big, huge ironstone pieces right there. Those are massive. It really got in there. Look at the gold. Gold right there. I'm going to spin.
All I did was brush off that top. And that's in the very top ripple that we got gold. And all I did was run. No, we dumped some in there.
Right there, you got the black sand, it's making black materials. If we just brush it to the side a little bit, and boop, oh, look, there's right there. Look at all that. It's all gold right here.
And this is in the top ripple. That pretty much tells you not a whole lot went down lower.
So I'm in our second ripple right there. We got a right there.
You come down lower, and we got black.
We got black sand all the way to the bottom. So we're not seeing gold here as I go through this, but you're seeing gold in the second ripple. You see gold all put up here. Right around one more time. Gold, there we go.
I'm going to take a picture of this so I won't forget.
Got it? All right. Anybody else want to see this before we set up it into the pan? Yeah, don't see it? Okay. So here's our black sand. They all got caught in
Carl,
Shake, running it out
can you
like
take a
that.
couple pictures for me?
Of that?
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't go down.
You guys are good. That's all good. Let's have Carl do it for me real quick. I'll put it on the website too. Yeah. Well,
You get worried
I just set it up over there.
off the back.
I get powder. I get powder. Yeah, I can probably, if you were interested later, I can go through some pictures and show you some of the stuff that we catch in here. You can get flour gold inside of these ripples, like without any problem at all. If see, you can tell by the fact that you're catching flour-sized black sand, the gold is going to be about 3 times heavier. So if I'm catching this powdered black sand in here, we're going to catch the powdered gold. Does anybody else want to see this before I dump the bucket?
This is how it gets dumped.
Okay.
Let's see it. Let's see the dump.
Okay, let's go all the way down here. Just so. You said about changing out your airflow screen. You said that it was going out? Yeah. How often do you have to do that? Depends on how often you're using it. I mean, that is, I've been using that thing heavily for the last 3 years. And prior to that, I bought it used and was already ready to use it.
Yeah, you can go to Keen Engineering.
You just got to get
look online to find
Keen Engineering, or you can go to Michael's or whatever cheese cloth, and then you just re-glue it back on.
The industrial both tell you if you go and you try to find a used one, get an original 151, not an S. Regardless of what they tell you at Keen
Right back
Engineering.
there. Flip that down. Now I'm ready to run 30 feet. Now I do what?
Level it.
Level it. Whoever said level it, was that you? No. All right. So I would check my level on this, and then I'm ready to start running again. Now, obviously this is for demonstrative purposes. That machine, I would probably do 10 to 20 buckets before I did a clean out. This machine, you could probably run 100 buckets of dirt through this machine before you were ready to clean it. This is a workhorse. This is a monster.
3 to 4 guys running 5-gallon buckets,
5-gallon
one
buckets all
right
day.
after another,
Yeah,
40,
one.
50, 60 buckets before we even think about cleaning out.
Yep.
And we don't ever lose anything off the back.
Yep. All right. So, Carl, do you want to field some questions? If anybody has any questions, then I'm going to like speed pan this down a little bit. There you go.
Do you sluice the pan after? Is it called sluicing? What is it called? Panning?
Questions? What was that?
Do you pan.
He's going to start panning it out right now. At this point, we'll take our concentrates, which is what was in there, we'll pan them down, and we'll get the final result.
You're good.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
He's going to be doing it right over there. He's going to speed pan, so he's going to
Because this was dry, I need to get in here by hand and mix the water and do really good. Because we bought this one, you just don't do that. Like, you run the risk of it coming in that far. So I'm coming in here by hand.
I haven't met a couple of
Did you pour your whole bucket in that black thing?
I did. I'm going to kind of speed pan this a little bit. We got a lot of black sand in this material, so there's probably a lot of black sand that's going to have you panned out. So I'll probably refine this, but we've only got like 5 or 10 minutes left today. So I'm going to this real quick for right now, and then I'll just refine this at home. But yes, I did pour the whole bucket in here. On a 151, it's a big bucket. Actually, I'm going to take one step back.
600?
So she brings up a good point. Did I dump the whole pan in there? Yes. Did I dump the whole bucket in there? If I'm running this little guy, because the sluice is so much smaller than that one, I can easily pan that out. No problem. This is a much bigger unit. My friends down in Arizona, they're dry washing literally every day of their lives. They're so confident that their top 3 riffles are catching on the gold that they'll actually have their little vacuum with them, their little vacuum pack. They'll vacuum out the top 3 riffles, and they'll only pan out the top 3 riffles, and then they'll keep running again. They're not worried about the stuff that's further down the sluice. It'll either stay there or build up more. So their first few runs of the day, until they get to the end of the day, they only vacuum out their top 3 riffles. Yeah, that's a great question. Jet dry is a surfactant. What it does is it breaks the surface tension. If you don't have jet dry in the water when you're painting,
He says speed pan, but I pan way faster than
the risk of floating gold.
We do that for one of our meetings.
Is it okay to use jet dry in there?
Yeah, I flip that
Don't let any
hair super sideways.
Don't hurt a damn thing. They're just some tree haters that don't like it.
Oh yeah. I got dragged down.
There's a lot of reasons why gold
Don't hurt nothing, you know. There's a lot worse things to get in. Don't.
gold will absolutely float out. So I throw a little jet dry in my water.
That's a more and you're working.
So have you tried Dawn before? You know, do you like jet dry better?
Yeah, dishwasher. Yeah, Dawn dish soap would work. Jet dry just doesn't bubble up as much.
Per gallon.
The aluminum ones, they just blow out. They just don't run. The ones that are in the vinyl, the coil in them, they're better.
That's
You see, there is a lot of black sand in this material. We probably overdid it when we prepped these buckets. Mix it more. I just took like a big bucket of black sand, like we size up my garage. I generally dig a hole through it in there, so you can see there's a run. So the hose is never on. So this is break this down in a couple of sand.
My hose heavier elements, and it's also
Break this down.
very soft and flexible too. It's
Demonstrate the process a little bit better.
So what we're going to do is put an elbow.
Okay. I like the So I like the super sluice for getting the first layers. If I'm doing like prospect and I'm putting heavy amounts of dirt in here, you can use the super sluice with these ripples. You can get gold in those ripples and they're not going anywhere. Yeah. For fine panning, the Mind Lab. This is my favorite pan. Everybody's got their own pan. Everybody's got their own style that they like to do. Oh, sorry. He will just super sluice all day long. That's not me. I'm a Mind Lab guy. This is my favorite pan I've ever used.
Justin bought this one used. Where'd you buy your used one?
I think we just found a used one the other day. It was one the other day, a couple months ago for $8, I think, for a small one, for the 140.
140, yeah. 15 for the 140
Probably, yeah.
24 to 26 on the 151. We try to buy everything we get used. So we serve and constantly look.
Okay, that person didn't have it. That wasn't the one. Okay. Remember, I was splitting this down, so it's probably very
No. And I use a leaf blower on my other one, and it works great.
So he's trying to get the heavy gold to sit on the bottom.
They'll make it brand new. Go on to KeenEngineering.com. You'll see everything. But we just go on to all the buy, sell, and trade gold equipment websites. We look on anywhere we can look, and like I say, almost everything we bought used. We bought that one basically brand new used. It's only been used a couple of times, and we It's got a couple rubber stoppers on it that tend to stop the shake, and they don't really hold it in the. What's your on the S model? What's your? Why don't you like it? It doesn't wiggle,
two
right?
things. They
And the
changed
motor's
out the
different.
Fans. Yeah, they
The fan
changed out the
motor's
fans, and the fan's not as good. It overblows and overshakes. And then the static material that they replaced with the mat on the matting.
Upgrades aren't always
Yeah,
better.
they didn't really.
On this
they
one,
upgraded it.
Apparently they can add more weights to it.
Yeah, there's just so much flex.
Oh, so you can adjust it. Just like you do on a telescope. Yeah.
That's a great question. It depends on how much water you've had. Where are you talking up? I'm not going to be in the water at all. I'm going to be up on the benches. So it should be dry. Unless you had a recent rainstorm, and it could stay wet.
Take your water up past the back.
Just get in and start digging. And if it's too wet, the other thing you can do is spread out a tarp and some dirt on a tarp and open it up. Run it, it'll run air through it, dry it off, and then run it a second time. Those are all different ways you can dry it water.
Dawn works too.
So really,
Dawn is what I use.
it's going to depend more on how many buckets of wildfire you dig up in a day. This is going to chew up more dirt than I could ever manage to dig. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. This will chew through hundreds of buckets a day. You could probably feed this thing 100 buckets an hour. I'm not going to dig that. So really, it's going to be the limitations going to be how my body is. So when you go with the group, just get some. Yeah, if a bunch of people want to jump in and run it, you know how it works.
But as you bring it around, bring it down.
I do 5 to 10
Tap that up.
I mean, a lot of classic like money class actors, mostly Arizona. Almost everything I've ever done, I watch just the whole thing. Big rock out, my bucket. This one came out of Arizona. This one came out of Arizona.
See the super fines that are in there? Tiny, tiny pieces of gold. None of that little shitty bit of stuff you see all the super fines.
Anybody want to see the panned out gold? Carl's got it up in here. Jump on in and see the gold in the pan, and then we're going to start heading back in for raffles.
Dustin, take some pictures of the camera.
Gold, but if you get in there and look, so when the fines up, it's a little tiny itty bitty.
Got you, man.
But I was kind of doing a speed thing there. You can see that how tiny those pieces that stayed in that box were.
Which I got the gold.
Not knowing the dragger 75 bucks, but
Yeah,
I got gold all over the place. I mean, I just got I got rowdy and was pushing it around. I mean, that's the gold there. The gold I'm flipping at. We've got jet dry in it, so we shouldn't see any gold is hydrophobic and little fine. It holds the oxygen and it tries to stay away from it. Some golds will float right on top. We've had big flakes like that right there float right on top. Or it'll join up in little pieces. That's probably very interesting.
that's the thing. I had a close one section with that bag. You can see it full in the water. Well, that's what I would consider. When it gets dry, it flows. I mean, it really depends on the ground.
It was my first time coming here. Yeah, my old man talked me into doing it. Same with my buddy over here. I was like, all right. We went down a couple weekends ago. We'll pick it down, same time he did.
You know, the ground is the ground. Like, you just,
Oh, you probably know. My dad, Bill Westfall, Tanya.
Yeah.
Big guy. He's got the same
He was
white
in the
teeth as me.
F-150 down there with us. I was talking with him.
He's got really white teeth like this. Yeah. We all have false teeth.
It was him and his wife.
So you know where you went, the second spot, where me and you were at the first spot, and then we went further up the river.
Yeah.
And he was the next one right up past the dredge.
Yeah. He talked me into going. Alright, why not?
I
It's
was this
something.
close last month, but I got him this month.
Yeah, it got me this month. I couldn't talk my way out of it this time.
His dad is just down there. Oh yeah, I found gold in Brand. You think so, huh?
Yeah, gotta go out and do the old man. Yeah, that's
Scratched up brand.
For just a couple bucks.
Very highly used brand. That's me.
Soccer bottle. Yeah, I just kind of.
We're gonna, and I'm willing to give anybody my number if they want to text me. So yeah, if you want to text me.
I don't know if we have silver up there. I doubt we will. Those are the pieces.
Those are, yeah, there's a
What's your number, Dustin?
702 area code.